I see three categories of people, and I want you to be honest with yourself and do a little bit of introspection as you're listening to this episode, because all of us fit into one of these three categories. Most people think responsibility is a burden, it's a chore, but it's actually leverage. It's a huge privilege at the end of the day. Ownership creates power. Today's episode, guys, is a really important one. It touches on something that I feel most of society suffers from, which is victim mentality. And although that's not the title of today's episode, it's still a very important point that I want to open with. Now, last week we talked about the cost of indecision. The week before that, we talked about the danger of the word potential. And if you missed those episodes, feel free to go back and binge them because all of these episodes are connected in a special way. And today's episode might be, for you, one of the most freeing realizations that you will experience. And that is that nobody is coming to save you. Not because people don't care, but because your life is your responsibility. We've all heard this expression, which is one of my favorite quotes. It's on a Post-it note in my office, that if it is to be, it is up to me. Everything comes back to you. And that also means that everything is your fault. Not anyone else's, but yours and yours alone. Now, most people spend years waiting to make a decision, to take action. They feel stuck, and the reasons for them being stuck are because it's always outward blame or something else other than them. And so they play the waiting game. They wait for perfect conditions. They wait for the government. They wait for rates. They wait for markets to improve. They wait for permission. They wait for motivation. They wait for sunshine outside. All things that may not ever come to pass. The problem is, guys, is that life keeps moving. The clock does not stop. And when I look around in my brief 47-year existence on this planet, I see three categories of people. And I want you to be honest with yourself and do a little bit of introspection as you're listening to this episode, because all of us fit into one of these three categories. First, what I open the show with, guys, and it's what I think is really the most crippling. It has a huge hold on society right now, and some of it is by design, which is not what today's episode will be about. We can talk about that another day. And that are victims. Everything happens to them. It's always somebody else's fault. I didn't get that job because those people are misogynists. I didn't get that deal because those people were racist. I didn't get this because of that. Basically just shifting blame somewhere else. The next group of people are observers. They just watch everyone else. They never take action. They're always judging, watching, keeping an eye out, calculating, taking in information, but never actually end up doing anything. And then there are the builders, the people that are always creating. They do this anyways. They don't get special circumstances or special market conditions. They just move despite those imperfect conditions. Now, as you're thinking about which one you fall into, and hopefully you were able to quickly identify which one it is, and you want to ask yourself also if you're happy being one of those. Because just because you identify with one right now through an honest revelation doesn't mean that you can't transition into another one. But this all leads to a powerful revelation, which is that ownership creates power. And if you take nothing else away from today's episode, guys, I want you to just write that down or make a mental note of it. Again, ownership creates power. The moment you own something, you ultimately can improve it. If it's everyone else's fault, then you have no control over it. But when you own it and it is up to you, then you can actually do something about it. Now, I'll tell you why ownership is so powerful, and that is because it's uncomfortable. Very few people actually want to take ownership because it's easier to just either remain an observer or remain a victim and blame everybody else. But the moment you understand this and can take complete control of it is the moment you have much better control of your life and its outcomes in the direction you're going in. And guys, I'll also tell you, it is never too late to do this. I've seen people that I've either coached or been around professionally that have finally taken ownership of their life and stopped blaming everything else in their 40s, in their 50s. And if you can do this in your 20s or 30s, or if you're a teenager, the most valuable lesson that you will learn, forget about what your parents have taught you, no disrespect to them because I'm sure they're amazing people, what your bosses have told you, what other mentors have told you. Remember this lesson. If you can own it, then you will be able to control it in the end. And if you learn that as a teenager, the sky is the absolute limit for you for the rest of your life. And that, guys, is why responsibility is actual freedom. Most people think responsibility is a burden, it's a chore, but it's actually leverage. It's a huge privilege at the end of the day. Because if your actions created the problem, then it's ultimately your actions that can get you out of it. It can create the solution. And just saying that is empowering. So hopefully that's resonating with you. And so in looking back on this episode, guys, hopefully you were able to identify which one of those three categories you fall into. Are you happy being in that category, or do you want to move out of it? I don't need to give you the blueprint for how to do that, because if you've listened to the previous two episodes and you also tune into next week's, you will have that. But I ask you this as we bring this episode to a close. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for better conditions? Are you waiting for permission? Are you waiting for motivation? Maybe it's time to just stop waiting, guys, because we don't ultimately have a lot of it. If anything, looking out there in the world, it should be a reminder to you that life is pretty fragile. Things can end in a moment. None of us have this end-on-end contract with being able to get things done. I know we say a lot, or you hear a lot, especially through social media. Be patient. You've got time. But then you also feel behind and you feel like if you're not taking enough action, then what's the use in being patient? And I'll tell you this, you can be patient and you have to be patient with the results, but you cannot, and I stress, underline, cannot be impatient with the execution. You can't wait. You have to take the action. The results will come when the results will come, but none of that is going to happen unless you first do something about it. So take that action, guys, and remember, just as I open this episode and it's the title of it, nobody is coming to save you. Thanks for listening, guys, and tune in next week for the finale of this 4-part series here on the LFG Energy podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a screenshot of it. Tag me on social media. Let us know what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, so that we can bring you more content like this. And if you feel that this or any other episode in this series has been helpful to you or it could help someone else, please share it with them. Thanks for listening, guys. I love you all, and I will catch you next week on the LFG Energy podcast.